Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Monday. How is everyone doing? You know, Today is actually a weird day. It's actually National Happiness Happens Day. They have all these crazy days throughout the year. I want to just start this all off today by just writing one thing that made you happy in the last 24 hours. Just put it in the chat and let's get the day started off with some positivity. And then I have an incredible, I would say, I don't know, interview, an incredible 30 minutes for you that will leave you guys all inspired and coffee. I'm with you on that one, and a very clear direction for a lot of you to go in. So one of the things I wanted to do was, as this journey we're all on continues over the 6 months, I'd like to continue to bring in agents right out of our community to share some of the great things that they've gone through and the great things that have happened for them, and kind of synthesize how you can do them too. And I know from speaking to a lot of you that people always look at agents or people in corporate jobs or areas and are wondering, like, oh, they're really successful. And when people bring successful agents on panels and stuff, they just talk about their success, which the feedback we get, it's incredibly frustrating. So as we've gone through like almost 4 weeks, right, of talking about doing different things, I wanted to share with you this week two different people, their stories of where they started and where they are today. And what actually happens when you put in the work, put in the time, open your mind. And Thomas Atanian, he is one of the founding agents in Pasadena, good friend, client. And when he shared our story, we were out in California and we did one of these VIP strategy days together. And when you look at him, he's a very well put together, humble, nice, friendly guy. And he shared his story. And I would say it's probably the most moving thing I've ever heard any agent tell me of where they started to how they got there. And I remember sitting in the room with him that day and be like, we have to share your story with all these people. Now, it's very personal. Some people might not want to share this stuff about them because they could actually think it's embarrassing. And he was open enough to want to share this with us. And look, as you're listening to this today, there are a couple of things I want you to filters I want you to listen through. If number one, if any person can do it, you can do it too. Number two, how challenges help you grow. And number three, sometimes hearing what other people are going through kind of makes some of the stupid things that we focus on every day easier, if that makes sense. Right? Because in the end, a lot of this is perspective. And I'll save you all taking off my shoe to show this illustration. But, a friend had shared um, in a leadership conference they went to, they held up a shoe. They had half the room going one side, the other half going the other side. And they asked one side, what do they see? And if you're looking at the bottom of a shoe, you're going to see that it's worn, it has dirt, it might have rocks in it and everything else. And then you go to the other side, you see this clean front part, nice laces, a place you put your foot in, the cushion. And life is very much like that. You can both be in the same place and have just a completely different perspective. And sometimes you just have to go on the other side of the shoe. So, Brooke, can you spotlight Thomas, please? So, good morning, Thomas. It's 6:30 where you are on the East Coast of Pacific. So, I appreciate you taking the time to be with us today.
No problem. Happy to be here.
So, I did kind of a brief intro, but tell them a little bit about yourself, where you work, and one fun fact they couldn't find out about you looking on the internet.
So I grew up in Chicago. I'm working out in Pasadena, Los Angeles area, and I've been doing this about 20 years now. Started right out of college, and one thing that maybe you can't find on the internet is that I've been coaching basketball for the local high school for the last 15 years, and we'll talk more about it. But that was kind of one way for me to break into a very affluent area, and I did it from the passion I had for coaching and for basketball and for being around kids and helping them and mentoring them. And so I had a passion for it, and it ended up working out in real estate. I ended up kind of breaking into that area where people have been living and selling in that area for 20 years. So it's not like you can just volunteer for anything, but it's something that I really had a passion for. So
So let's give everyone some numerics because everyone always wants to know this. When you came to Compass as a founding agent, approximately what was your sales volume?
I was, consistently between like 30 to 35 million, I would say, when I
And
first got there.
and what did you do last year?
So last year we had our best year ever. It was over 101 million.
And how are you pacing this year? Behind, same, ahead?
We should outpace that in the next few months. So
All right, so now let's get into the front. So this is what you see today, right? So if you met Thomas today, you'd see a person that is top 3 in La Cunada, which I call La Canada because it's just funny the way it's spelled. And it's a very affluent town. He has a team, and you see a well put together guy who's engaged, he's about to get married, and everything's all put together. And what you don't realize is where he started. So you graduated college, right? We'll start there. And what did you do from there in Chicago?
So I graduated college at Marquette University in Milwaukee, moved out to California, really didn't know, what I wanted to do. I just knew I wanted to be in warmer weather than Chicago and Milwaukee. And then, I saw Jerry Maguire. I'm like, that's what I want to be. I want to be a sports agent. I want to work with athletes. I want to negotiate contracts. And I thought I was going to go to law school out here. And, I ended up moving out with my cousin, sleeping on her couch. And she just got into real estate. It was 2005. The market was heating up. And I got to see how she would interact with her clients and became really close friends in such a small, short amount of time. Because, obviously the stress that people go through in buying and selling a house, people become very close. So I wanted to just be a part of it. I followed her around, I shadowed her, learned whatever I could, got my license, and then just started in real estate. Didn't have any money.
Let's start this. So you had so this, to be clear, you moved from college, you followed a movie dream, which quickly didn't work out. You were sleeping on somebody's couch and you were broke.
And didn't know anyone outside of, my cousin here. So I didn't have a network at all.
Let me ask you a question. So before we even getting into real estate, like where was your mind at that point? Did you feel like you were stuck? Did you feel like, because if you watch Jerry Maguire, he's broke too in the movie. It's like inspiring, right? Like, and some people are into that whole pursuit of happiness, and for other people that could really drag him down a deep hole. Like, where was your mindset at that point?
Well, I didn't have any direction, and I didn't know how real estate worked. I didn't know. I just figured, the brokerage takes a split from you. They probably just feed you leads every day. I thought maybe you get paid a salary and then you get paid, commissions when you sell a house. I had no idea how any of it worked, and just kind of went into it full boat without really a backup plan. And just tried to hustle and learn as much as I could. But it was a big struggle at the beginning. I would say for at least the first 4 to 5 years. And then, we hit 2008, 2009. And just when I was starting to get some traction, getting a little bit of a network out, starting to understand what I was doing, then the financial crisis hit, and it was, even worse. So it really, I had to work twice as hard to make half the money at that time.
So, but while you were doing this, you got a job, and it was kind of an ironic story. Where did you apply to work?
So I literally, this was, probably 2008, and everything was starting to crash. And, I couldn't get a job anywhere. I literally, I was a college graduate, kind of had to swallow my pride. The only way that I got, a job at the local restaurant in La Cunada, was the manager was from Chicago and just kind of gave me a shot, and wouldn't let me wait tables because I didn't have any experience. And so I ended up just bussing tables there. I worked security, kind of worked any kind of like odd job just to pay the bills, because my passion was in real estate. I knew that's what I wanted to do, but was really struggling to make any money at it.
So, were you still living on your cousin's couch at this point?
Yeah, I think they upgraded me to like the back house with, no bathroom. It was just kind of like just a room back there. But yeah, basically sleeping on a couch.
And then as you shared this story, you got your first big break with a client. What was that like?
So the only way for me to really meet clients, because I didn't know anyone out here, was to hold open houses. And so I'd hold an open house every weekend. I would do it during the week, right around the school time when people were picking up their kids, 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock. But I did an open house in Kenyatta. You get me say it wrong all the time now. In La Cañada, and it was like a $2 million listing at the time. This couple came in, they wanted to buy the house, but it was contingent on them selling their house. They didn't have an agent. They wanted to work with me and to sell their house and then to buy this house, which would have been a $3 million deal at that time, would have been life-changing for me. I mean, I was literally bussing tables, struggling to pay my cell phone bill. And so I started down that path and to list their house, and it was a little bit overpriced. And then when I was working at the restaurant, which is the local restaurant, who comes in but the couple that I'm working with, these people who they've entrusted me with their $3 million asset basically to handle. And I'm not even waiting. I'm literally bussing their tables. I'm literally pouring them water and so bringing them bread. So I basically hid in the kitchen. And if anybody has ever bussed tables or waited, you know that you just can't, especially bussing tables. You have to be out there cleaning things, and things are starting to pile up, and people are yelling at you to get out there. And so I basically had to shield myself and start to clean off tables so that they wouldn't see me. And there was this big round table in the middle. There was like a 6-person table. And I wanted to go out there and just do it in one shot, do everything, put everything on the plate. And so I put all the plates on, the glasses, everything. I was shielding myself the whole time. They were in a back booth. And I had everything on the tray. And one of the glasses started to tilt. And in order for me to get that one glass, everything went. Like I literally tilted the tray and everything crashed. 5, 6 glasses, wine glasses, plates, everything fell. And the whole restaurant was obviously looking at me. And, to this day, I really don't know if they saw me. I'm sure they did. But, it was just kind of probably the lowest point in my whole life. You're just thinking like, I'm a college graduate, I'm bussing tables, I'm, working my ass off to try to, just put anything together. And the one time I do, I totally embarrass myself. So really just lower than low, just wanted to just go into a hole and never come out. So
the question is, everyone has that. And one, thank you for sharing that, right? That's not an easy story for a lot of people to share. And how did you, when you went home that night, right, and you woke up the next day, I'm sure when we have these things happen like that, it's very challenging. Like, how'd you work through that?
I just somebody asked if I sold their home. So what happened was their house that I tried to sell was overpriced. And again, I'm really hoping that incident didn't affect anything, but it was just home was overpriced, and I ended up not being able to put it in escrow and closing it. So it was just a really tough thing for me to get over. It was just, I remember going home that day and just literally like collapsing on the bed. And I've heard from some other people that you really need to, if you go through tough times, let it happen for 24 hours, be upset, even now, and even in today's business, if you have something that happens in your business that you're upset about or sad about, be upset, sad about it for 24 hours. But as soon as that clock hits 12:01, you got to start building for the next day. You got to have short-term memory loss. You have to start, working on how you're going to make things better. And that's really what I tried to do. It was very difficult. It probably took a little bit more than 24 hours that time, but to really just start to build, because you can wallow in it. You can be sad about it for weeks if you allow yourself to. You can be mad about it for weeks and why you're here. And I think that 12:01, you have to look forward and see how you can kind of better yourself and continue to work, put the work back in. So
this wasn't the end of your escapades, right? Because then you tried to be a police officer.
So I had no passion to be a police officer. I think it's a very admirable profession. Obviously, I just, it just was never for me. The real estate was always my passion, but we had a agent on our team who was a police officer, and he worked 3 12-hour shifts, which meant you work 3 days, 12-hour shifts, and then you get 4 days off. So I'm like, this is perfect. I'm gonna work as a police officer 3 days of the week, and then hustle in real estate the other 4, which would, it would have never worked out like that. But they were paying, I think, like $52,000 a year, which at that time would have changed my life. I really didn't know how I was going to raise a family, how I was going to, just survive. No retirement, no steady income, no insurance. Just a bunch of things that I didn't have at the time. So I thought maybe I could get into that and supplement real estate and all that. I went to 4 different departments, ended up, not working out for whatever reason. And, then it kind of led me to, I was literally I got all the way to LAPD, because LAPD would literally take anyone. I went to some of the smaller departments, whatever happened. And I got to LAPD, they expedited me to the very end. I did the polygraph test, and I was on the way back from the polygraph, and that's when I got basically a call from a business manager who ended up, just changing the entire trajectory of my career. And I got that letter 2 weeks later for the academy to start, and I basically had this, take the passion road or take this the safe road that I really didn't have. My heart wasn't into it.
What did the business manager say in the call?
So about 2 days before I went in for my polygraph test, I was just looking on the internet. I saw that a local celebrity was looking for a property in Beverly Hills, and I knew that they lived in Glendale, which is close to La Cañada. And, I was just thinking, I had one client, I had one sale that I sold $1 million house to. It was my only sale. I think in 2009, I sold 3 houses, and one of them was this one. It was a commercial real estate agent that I met at an open house, and I sold them $1 million house. And I had just thought maybe they would want to upgrade and move into this neighborhood. And I thought maybe the celebrity was going to want to sell their house and buy something in Beverly Hills. So I saw it online. So I drove to their house. I knew exactly where they lived. And I bought a box of pastries, a Starbucks gift card, and my business card. And I wrote on the back of my business card, if you're ever thinking about selling, please let me know. I may have somebody interested. And not that somebody's going to eat pastries that I shove under their gate. I was just, it was kind of a last Hail Mary to just, I really didn't know what I was doing. So I literally shoved the pastries, the Starbucks gift card, the business card underneath the gate, and I left. And that celebrity actually called me. I was in the polygraph test, so my phone was off, and they had left a message saying, thank you so much. We appreciate it. We're not really thinking about selling right now, but we'll keep you posted. And I was so shocked that this guy had called me, And then, my phone, I'm listening to the voice message, and then I'm in the car back from the polygraph test. And all of a sudden the business manager calls and just rips me a new one. I mean, really, what are you doing? Don't ever contact my client again. Don't solicit any, business from them. You'll deal with me. Like, just a lot more efforts in there. But um, you know, just really just, he's a gatekeeper, and I understand what he was doing, but um I literally just told him, I said, listen, I may have someone just to see it. I tried to keep calm, even though, like, inside I was just destroyed. I felt so small, but ended up getting them over to the house, and it didn't work out, but he kind of saw himself in me, and he kind of had the same story where he moved from New Jersey with no money, and he's kind of an Americanized Armenian like me, and we had similar interests in sports, and I really just had that contact, and I have an email from him from 2009 that I framed and put in my office, but it basically said, we've had a realtor for 5 years, and that's never going to change. So basically to say, there's no future business with me. I showed the house, but there's no future business. But I thought if I got enough in front of him, I sent him enough, investment deals that may be able to work with him in the future. And that's what I learned. I really started in multifamily, which is kind of crazy to see, like, where I am now and what I'm obviously I do more residential, but I started in multifamily because what I realized is, no matter, anybody with money always wants to make more money. And, buying and selling a house is timing based. They need to move for a different school district, or they had another kid and they want to move up. But, I don't care if their brother's an agent, their mom's an agent. If you bring them a really good investment deal, they're going to look at it and sometimes go with you. So that's what I did. I focused on that, and I said no to the police. I talked to my manager, and we started down this path. It took about 7 months before, and again, I'm still bussing tables. I'm still struggling, and I got an email from him. It took about 7 months, and he said, I have a client. They're looking for about $10 to $15 million of real estate. We'd like to look at, apartment buildings. I had never sold an apartment building at that time. I had no idea about cap rates. I had no idea about cash flow, or, any of that. And so I studied, learned everything about it. And then that just kind of started everything.
And the rest. And how many deals have you done with this guy since then?
We've done over $250 million of deals together, based on him and, referrals and.
It's like, here you go, drop the mic.
Yeah, I mean, that changed my entire career, and I'm working just as hard now as I was back then. It just, sometimes, they say the harder you work, the luckier you get. I mean, you can say that, and the timing and everything that worked out, but it was really just one opportunity, and I didn't know what was going to happen with that contact, but it just worked out, because I kept sending him the best of the best deals. I would hunt, I'd find off market, I would, actually, there was another property that had been listed at 1.5, sold at 1.5 at the peak of the market, and then came back as a foreclosure at 750. It was literally half off. And so I sent him that, and I think that was kind of the catalyst. Sometimes it just needs a really good deal. They never bought that property, but just to get in front of them. And that's kind of what I tell my team now. I have a very small team. I have, 4 agents and a, full-time assistant and a social media marketing person. But sometimes, even if they don't buy that deal, you at least put it in front of them, and then it gets in their head that this guy's really on top of it. If it's not this one, he's going to find another one for me.
All right, so everyone just hit yes if you feel inspired today to go do something different, right? Where, look, I pull all this out, and the reason we want to share this You never know, right, Thomas, how that one conversation could change your life. But if you don't go out and have the conversations, you don't go out and be uncomfortable, nothing happens.
And I literally drove past that house, and in my when I was dropping off the pastries, and I thought, what am I doing? I literally had that. There was like a limo in the front in the driveway. I drove past the house, and I just decided, no, I'm not going to do it. And I drove past it, then I reversed, and I came back, and the limo was gone, and I just did it, and it was uncomfortable, and it was, you know, embarrassing or whatever it was. It pushed me outside that comfort zone, and like, you know, action breeds more action, activity breeds more activity, and you'll never know until you do it. And it was just a shot in the dark. It was literally, I just saw an article online and just decided to go for it.
So look, everybody, couple things, right? As we kind of go backwards to go forwards here, and we put this all together, it's look, he was shooting in the dark. You guys have a data sheet where you could pull where all your deals come from. You'll have a tracker to understand what percentage of your GCI comes from. You guys have a financial dashboard to understand how much it costs you guys to run your business, run your life, the cost of it every day. You guys have a simple exercise for accountability on tracking your money. These are all things Thomas didn't have, but they're all simple actions. And based off of that base, you can now take a more thoughtful approach to who you contact, how you invest time, how you invest money. And the only difference from where he is now to where we all are today, and whatever gap that is just action, right? So for people that might feel stuck or that might not want to do the work, like what do you tell your team? What is like one last bit of advice you can give people to really get them moving? And like and specifically for people right now, right? The market's changing. It's the deals in some markets are not there right now. And there are a lot of people that just kind of feel stuck. What would you say to all of them? Because you've lived through this.
Yeah, and I think what I've told my team is that, you should embrace this, that you should want this change, because this is the time to gain market share. And I really believe, like in 2008, 2009, when I had to work twice as hard and maybe some agents were getting out of the business, I tell my team all the time, it's nothing new, but really be a market expert, really know your craft. I remember when I first started, I was just an MLS junkie. I was on the MLS all the time, searching NAR, out here in California, CAR, California Association of Realtors. They have so much other free webinars. And now, I mean, I have an amazing coach too. Like, to have access to this is just incredible. Everything that they are doing to track everything and to really get down into the minutia. That's what I would tell my 2008 self, is invest any money you had, into coaching and to have somebody direct you. Because I was literally shooting in the dark. I had no idea what I was doing, but I had the grit to, kind of make it through. But I would say just be a market expert, know everything about your market, know which house sold down the street, which house is being leased, who had multiple offers. And then people will look at you as an expert, and that next time that they need to make a move, they're going to call you.
Perfect. Thomas, put your email in there if anyone wants to reach out to you. Tell them you work in La Cañada, Pasadena. I'm going to say it the right way. Myself, Kate, we all have a good time with this. And look, it's really special what you've built, and even hearing your story again as many times as I've heard it, it's inspiring over and over again. If you look at this person, he's just so humble, kind, down to earth. You'd never have any idea that he came here broke, living on somebody's couch, bussing tables, and was rejected from all these different police departments. Right? It's like you don't put the two together. And what I'm hoping everyone leaves with is, look, we're here. This community, this environment is set up for all of us to grow together. Check out one of his prospecting sessions. Get to know other people here, and really just put the time in and do the work. We'll give you everything, but that's like, we can go 60%, not even 50, but that other 40 you have to do. And if you're having a hard time, just reach out to someone else in the group. Do it together. All right, Thomas, last parting words. What do you got?
No, I feel very blessed and honored to be here and just to be part of this community. And I just think this is just the beginning. I think, networking with other people that, for me is up at 6:30 and, is being a part of these sessions. And I've seen a lot of people from on my accountability sessions too. And it's been great for me. My dad's a college baseball coach. My mom's been in education for 40 years. So, and I coach, high school basketball, and I'm just blessed to be a part of the group. And I think, all of us can rise together.
All right, everybody, that's a great way to start a Monday. So there is an opportunity for all of us to go do something great today. So always with love in my heart, I love you all. I hope everyone has a great day. Thomas, thank you so much for being here. And we get to do this one more time at 12:30. And if you know me, I can never do the same exact thing twice. So if you'd like to tune back in, we'll be doing this again at 12:30. And we'll see you all tomorrow where we have another story with a different twist and some more inspiration that you guys can all draw from. Bye, everybody. Thank you, Thomas.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Bye.